and then your whole face is gonna look like a raccoon. Anyway, but with this one, welcome back to Personal Beauty. I'm your host, Shannon, as always. And today I've got a really fun episode for you guys. We're gonna be talking about a few more ways to not only stay cool in this crazy summer heat, but also how to keep your makeup from slipping and sliding around. So if you guys are anything like me and you like to wear a little bit of makeup, whether it's just out for work or whether you guys are going out for a date night or something like that, in this heat it can be a little bit problematic, especially if you tend to sweat in the T-zone of the face or just underneath the eyes, things like that. Makeup typically is oil-based, and even if it's water-based, it has a tendency to split. What that kind of means for those of you guys that aren't avid makeup wearers is that the makeup will start to become more visible. This gives the appearance of a cake face or looking a bit cakey. You might also notice that specifically a couple areas that crease would be right around the mouth line here and right underneath the eyes. So today we're going to be talking about a couple ways to avoid all of that. You actually don't want this to be a perfect match to your skin tone. That would be more along the lines of foundation. With concealer, this is where you're going to put on to conceal spots or dark circles. So this is what you want to be a little bit lighter. A nice little rule of thumb is kind of go for like a banana shade if you tend to have more like purpley under eyes, because it has that yellow undertone, which, like I said before, when it comes to makeup, it's all about the color wheel. So try to look for the opposites. If you're like me and you have more of a pink tone base, you can try to find ones that have a little bit of a green or blue hue. But like I said, for these summertime makeup looks, it's actually better to do less if you can. It's better to have skin that looks like skin, but it's normal, especially if you guys are in a very humid environment like it is here in Korea, for your pores to dilate and for your skin to be a little bit more moist in general, which is always going to make it harder no matter how hydrated you are for makeup to stick to. This particular one is actually a concealer. I'll show you guys how it's settling in just a moment. I want to use it in the water. So when it comes to waterproof makeup, there's a couple little things that I want to make you guys aware of, especially with concealer and stuff. So this kind is going to be what's considered water resistant. So I don't know if you guys can see it here in this camera, but for this one, that is a very like smooth finish. It looks almost completely silky. You really can't see like my pores or anything on my hand. So for reference, you can see a little bit of the tonal difference right there. So make sure you're comfortable with the texture, but also make sure that you're blending things out really well. Because it is so thick, if you leave any harsh lines or edges, you're gonna be able to see it, especially if you're in the water or if you start to sweat. So just keep that in mind. So this is the Koreanet. Koreanet is one of the more kind of up-and-coming brands as far as like makeup products in Korea. I've definitely recommended them for lash stuff before, especially to my clients at the clinic. I've recommended their lash serum. So this is actually just a mascara, but this is the perfect setting waterproof long and curl mascara. So I have kind of a funny story to tell about these. When I first came to Korea, obviously I had to, eventually I would run out of my products that I brought from home and I had to get the refills in Korea. So when I went and looked for mascaras, I just kind of picked one up because it wasn't even crossing my mind that there was like a waterproof one. And almost all the mascaras in Korea are waterproof. There's actually a reason behind this. The reason is because a lot of Koreans' eyelash types more straight. So to keep it kind of lifted and curled, they use a waterproof formula. I did not know this. So you can imagine my surprise when I couldn't get it off for like 3 days. If you guys are using waterproof mascaras, for example, make sure that you are using an oil-based remover, whether that's micellar water or like an oil cleanser or a balm. As long as it's oil-based, it should come off. Otherwise, good luck, because these things have the staying power of nothing I've ever seen before. So definitely make sure that you have a oil-based remover as well. So this is actually what I would call a setting powder. In Korean, this actually says blur powder. Blur powder packed. Try to say that 3 times fast. So right away, when you open it up, I love this packaging. I love this little puff. This is like a super vintage kind of feeling puff. I don't know if you guys ever had that sort of like air spun powder makeup when you were young, or if you saw it in your mom's cabinet, but it feels very much like that and it looks very much like that. So this is not your average setting spray or setting powder, excuse me. So setting powders in general are meant to kind of prevent your makeup from smudging around. This one is not only meant for prevention of that, but it's also meant to, I think you guys can see that. It's also meant to soak up any excess oil on the skin. Ooh, I am ready for this one. So I've actually never tried waterproof eyeliner before. I've definitely tried the mascaras, but this one I think terrifies me a little bit, just because with eyeliner I feel like One, just putting it on, to all the ladies out there, if you guys have seen that Ariana video where she just like, it's incredible. Putting it on has got to be one of the scariest things ever because they could be uneven and then your whole face is gonna look like a raccoon. Anyway, but with this one, it's actually like a little pencil. Oh my gosh, that is lovely. I love that. Oh my gosh, it's so gel. I've never seen something like this before. That's what it says, gel eyeliner. Wow, that is amazing. I definitely want to grab one of these. Is this really waterproof? Oh, that's so cool. I don't know if you guys can see it. Zoom in. I'm gonna try to make a little eyebrow. Oh no, I broke it. Don't break it. Don't push too hard. Anyway, it's occurring to me now that I'm drawing all over my hand and I might not be able to get it off. This is a waterproof eyeliner, so this would actually be a really good option because it's dark brown instead of black. If you guys are going to be going out and you are dancing around and you start to sweat, this would be a really good way to prevent it from coming off. Also, if you do like that sort of stronger eye look, this would be a really great option for you. For photo shoots, for if you're at the pool or at the beach, definitely give this one a try. I think I'm the most excited about this because I haven't seen a pencil gel type eyeliner that's also waterproof. This is really cool. I would say that most of the eyeliners that I'm familiar with that are waterproof tend to be very like liquidy. They come out on like a little paintbrush. This is awesome though. I love how light it is. I love how easy it is. Clearly doesn't smudge at all. That is crazy. Look at that. Wow, awesome. Yeah, 10 out of 10 so far. I definitely will keep this and let you guys know how it goes. Let's see, is waterproof eyeliner a must-have for you in the summer, or do you skip it altogether? I've never tried it, but if it does work as well as it seems like it does, then it will be part of my routine. You get to take the products home sometimes. Sometimes. I will ask, just so I can test them out and see how it goes. Today's diary is a shopping basket. Yeah, that's definitely true. Skin that doesn't break down with sweat is a dream. Yes, so we obviously want to make sure that we are being healthy with our skincare, but also making sure that if you do want to wear makeup and stuff, that it's not going to smudge and move around, because that kind of defeats the whole purpose. It's actually supposed to boost your confidence, but if you come out looking like a swap monster, it's going to be crazy. So let's go ahead and move on to this last product. This is the Holy Grail. This is one of my all-time favorites. I actually love this one. So I have used this one many, many times before. This is a setting spray. And this is actually a little bit of an important note. It's really important to make a distinction between setting spray and refreshing spray, or hydration spray or something like that, or fixing spray, I think it's called. Because one of them is alcohol based and the other one is not. If you go to Olive Young and you grab like the Skin 1004 refreshing spray or hydration spray, that one is almost only hyaluronic acid or water-based products. So if you are wearing an oil-based product, it's gonna split your makeup. So be very careful with that. This one is a setting spray. So setting spray is something that's meant to be applied after you put on all of your makeup. I don't know if you guys can see that. There it goes. Look at that, the atomizer is great. It's lovely. Anyway, so the setting spray is meant to be applied after you finish your makeup because the alcohol molecules are gonna stick to the makeup and help everything to just stay absorbed into your skin rather than moving around. So if you already have a waterproof base and then you're putting a alcohol base on top of it, the alcohol is gonna dry down and kind of act like glue and stick it to your skin. Thank you for the great show as always. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your guys' support, your questions, your engagement. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. Mwah. See you next time. Bye.